Elon Musk's new spacecraft that will revolutionize space explorations. SpaceX, owned by Elon Musk, has completed the development of their nuclear spacecraft that is ready to be launched. The development of the space rocket has created quite a buzz in the space industry, as everyone is talking about it. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, is also the founder of SpaceX, which was developed in early 2002 and has completely transformed the traditional exploration of space. What is so special about this rocket that it took decades to complete? We will find out about this in today's video. The successful journey of SpaceX. SpaceX has been working to advance its space exploration searches more than any other private space industry, and it has shown through their dramatic change in their technology. In fact, SpaceX is the only company that, despite being a private organization, was able to successfully launch their spacecraft, named Falcon 1, to space and also return them safely back to Earth in 2009. Spacecraft Falcon 1 has new versions as well, with the current one being Falcon 9, which is a very successful spacecraft that has many successful launch titles under its belt. Falcon 9 has been launched 185 times, out of which 183 were a success, which is pretty amazing for a privately launched spacecraft. SpaceX also bragged about the title of being the first private company back in May of 2020 when they successfully launched a crewed flight to an international space station via Falcon 9. And this is no easy feat to attain. It is no easy task to have a successful space flight, especially for the American space industry, or NASA. This is the reason why astronauts are not able to set foot on the moon, ever since NASA's Apollo mission back in 1972. One of the main reasons that could explain this delay perfectly is the rockets that are being launched. Why NASA's rockets fail so often. The reason why NASA's rockets are unable to successfully launch is because of the chemical produced by reacting liquid oxygen with hydrogen to power the rockets. The chemical rockets produced have a limitation that is unignorably the cause of an unsuccessful launch. This chemical reaction produces an immense amount of heat that is used to expand the gaseous byproducts through the nozzle yielding of thrust. But the high level of density of this byproduct stream has affected the functioning of the rocket by impacting the power of the rocket itself with a heavier oxygen, compromising the payload as well. Now, the only possible solution for this can be the development of huge space rockets, which has already been adopted, that has enough room to store fuel efficiently. The huge sizes of these rockets will greatly impact the Earth and the environment itself. Elon Musk's plans. The more reliable technology would be the subtraction of weight of the spacecraft and the use of nuclear energy that, despite having drawbacks, such as the destructions caused by them during world wars, are still the most useful form of technology declared. The U.S. Congress also released a budget up to $125 million to support the development of rockets powered from nuclear energy instead of the chemical one. Elon Musk also supports the development of spacecraft that are powered by nuclear energy. He says that nuclear thermal rockets would be a great area of research for NASA. Elon Musk also suggested to the European government to develop more nuclear power to deal with the fuel crisis the world is facing due to the Russia-Ukraine war, by which he wants to remove the fear of nuclear power from the minds of people. Elon Musk believes that nuclear power consumption is far better than the burning of hydrocarbons for the sake of producing energy. He also suggested that he would happily eat food produced in a radioactive environment. How nuclear spacecraft work. Before Albert Einstein had formulated E equals mc squared, the immense energy in the atom remained untouched. An element is made up of 3 subatomic particles: electron, proton, and neutron. The electrons revolve around the nucleus made up of protons and neutrons. In the chemical reaction produced in Falcon 9, where the liquid oxygen reacted with hydrogen, the electrons also get involved in the reaction, causing either addition or subtraction of electrons on the outermost shell, releasing energy in the form of heat. In contrast, the reaction in nuclear thermal rockets are way in depth, as the nucleus is the one getting involved in the reaction. This process annihilates the nanomas of the nucleus into an unfathomable amount of energy. This makes the fact understandable how nuclear rockets will reduce the size of spacecrafts while doubling or tripling the payload. The conquest of setting foot on Mars. SpaceX has an ambition for the longest time to reach Mars that is approximately 40.2 million miles away from the Earth, which would take Falcon 9 approximately 9 months to reach the other side. It is a difficult task even for present-day technology, as it would take a spacecraft with a completely working station to successfully launch. Despite all these difficulties, Elon Musk is still determined to launch a spacecraft successfully to Mars, which is why he developed Starship spacecraft at SpaceX that is specifically designed to reach Mars with a manned flight. The space rocket is 3.7 meters in diameter and 120 meters in height, becoming the tallest rocket. Important details about the rocket system. The rocket system consists of super heavy thrust. The thrust of this rocket will be powered by approximately 33 next-generation engines known as Raptors. The payload of the spacecraft, as per SpaceX, is able to lift 100 metrics of cargo up to space, which makes it truly a one-of-a-kind rocket. This rocket will also accomplish other great things once it is switched from chemical to nuclear power by Elon Musk. There are also chances of a new method to be used called the neutronic fusion that will use lithium and deuterium to produce helium and nuclear energy, which will make the journey to the moon under 3.5 hours instead of 9 months. It would take 4 days to reach Mars without exhausting a huge fraction of nuclear energy. This generates a possibility that manned flights can reach Mars or even beyond that. This could make space exploration the norm, since the moon could act as a space station, making the spacecraft act as an intercontinental jet that goes to and from the moon and back to Earth, pick up passengers and drop them back on the moon, and then pick passengers from the moon and take them back to Earth, which looks like a dream. The space rocket will be able to take passengers to Mars in about 5 days, giving the passengers 10 days to stay on Mars until another team picks them up and takes them back to Earth. The space rocket can also cause a revolution in the spacecraft industry, as it is the low-cost energy that could be the means of reducing carbon emissions in the sector, which is the worst emitter of greenhouse gases. The spacecraft made with such a nuclear system would be able to travel super fast. The drawbacks of nuclear spacecraft. The major drawback of using a nuclear rocket is the risk of a lethal accident, since nuclear disasters have done much worse to the world in the past. The immense concentration of energy in a small space can be a risk for crew members on board. This can also be a health hazard if some sort of leakage occurs, exposing the radioactive substances. This will not only affect the members of the crew, but also the officers on the space station. These types of accidents will draw questions to the safety of the spacecraft, which could lead to an official ban from the government itself. The solution. The safety measure to avoid accidents is to never launch spacecraft from Earth to orbit launches. The nuclear thermal power would never be used on the Earth to orbit launches, but will only be engaged when the rocket has reached the safe distance of the ISS. According to the tweet made by Elon Musk, to be clear, it is good for space transit but not recommended for Earth to orbit. Radiation danger. The deep space is surrounded by immense amounts of radiation, and if we add the radiation generated by the spacecraft, it will be too much radiation for the crew members on board. The solution. According to Elon Musk, the faster travel time will prevent them from getting stuck in such a situation. Biohazard poisoning. The nuclear reactors such as plutonium and uranium are an extreme biohazard. A millionth gram of plutonium is enough to poison at least 20 people, in addition to being carcinogenic as well. The solution. A proper handling of such chemicals is required to avoid such circumstances. Nuclear rockets are expensive. The establishing and setting up of nuclear rockets are expensive, also requiring extremely skilled professionals to do the task of handling and managing the spacecraft as well. Conclusion. And that's it for today. We really hope you enjoyed today's video. Like and comment down below if you think this rocket system will change the way space exploration works. We will see you guys next time with a new video. Take care.